Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining me for another Alfred Hitchcock Presents review. Today it is Season 2, Episode 39, The Dangerous People, starring Albert Salmi as Jones and Robert H. Harris as Bellefontaine. And this is the last episode of Season 2, and I have to say, Season 2 goes out on a very high note. This is an excellent episode. I actually would have called it an all-time great episode if I didn't feel like the ending was a little bit predictable and disappointing. But this episode has a lot of tension and suspense and two very interesting lead characters, which is also always a good thing. So we start in a train station, and there's a man, Bellefontaine. He's one of our main characters, and we're hearing his thoughts, and he's talking to himself, and he seems to be a little bit nervous and concerned about things. He's just that type of person. So he meets another man named Jones, who seems a little bit calmer, but also a little bit suspicious. They're waiting for a train to arrive to take a trip, and they chat with each other. We get some info about both men. We also learn at this point that someone from a mental hospital has escaped, and right away our job seems to be to figure out which of these two men could be the mental patient that has escaped at this point. One of the men, Bellefontaine, goes to the ticket agent who talks about people having split personalities, which was interesting enough, but it's more of a mislead than anything else. It doesn't really come into play in the episode that much. I thought it might a little bit more. So ultimately, Bellefontaine is concerned. Like I said, while Jones seems to be a little calmer, Jones starts talking, and at this point, we're led to believe he could be the escaped patient. At least Bellefontaine suspects that. As we get more of his thoughts, he's very nervous. So at this point, he's also concerned because Jones is grabbing his head a lot. So Bellefontaine goes to the bathroom, and we learn he has a gun. He says he's glad he brought it along, and that he might have to use it obviously at this point. So Jones confronts him in the bathroom, and we start learning through his thoughts, which I like that we got to hear both characters' thoughts, that he was drinking, and that's why he's holding his head so much, or at least that's what he claims. So at this point, he also starts to suspect that Bellefontaine might be the escaped patient. And here's my one flaw with the episode. Based on both of these men's thoughts, I was pretty sure that neither one was the escaped mental patient at this time, but I was hoping that the episode would prove me wrong and there would be a great twist. So both men are on alert of each other at this time. Jones is even more concerned when he notices that Bellefontaine has a gun on him. So he decides he's going to go for this poker. It's like a fireplace type poker, I believe. So there's tension between both of them, and I have to say this is really well done. The suspense is really good here, and I could actually feel the tension, like I was right there in the episode, which is always a great thing. So eventually, this leads both men to kind of go for their weapons of choice. When they are interrupted, an officer comes in, but we soon, both men seem relieved kind of at first for a minute. They both ask if the maniac's been caught yet, and right away, by the way the officer was acting, I knew that he was the escaped patient. So he's acting kind of strange. He goes to strangle Jones at this point, but of course there's men waiting to take him away right outside. So I'm not a big fan of this type of writing where all of a sudden we get a third character who's the escaped mental patient. I was more invested in Bellefontaine and Jones, and actually would have preferred if one of them was behind the escape. I thought it would have been more interesting. But maybe they just didn't want to go there in television at this time, at this era. So, at this point, both men are waiting for the train, and they both say, I thought it was you for sure. And the escaped patient says he wants to go back to the institution because it's safer. So really, the episode is kind of like a lesson or a tale on what happens when you have too much paranoia towards another person, which is fine. It works. I just thought the end was a little bit predictable and not what I would have preferred. But others might find it to their satisfaction. Overall, I'm going to give The Dangerous People a 4 out of 5. And I do think this is an excellent episode with a lot of tension and very good character building. And I do recommend it. So a 4 out of 5 for The Dangerous People. And as always, thank you very much for watching.